Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your weekly reading. Okay, I was just tuning in for you and I was getting the sense, because we've got a big full moon in Sagittarius this week on the 14th, give or take a day, depending on where you are in the world. And I was getting a sense of you being shown something, but it's like I see it, but I don't believe it. And so you're really questioning this. You're really questioning the kind of energy that has been revealed to you, or the information that's been revealed and shown to you in this full moon. It's a little bit like suspicious, like I don't know whether to believe this to be true or not. So you're not necessarily taking it on board. It's not like this big revelation of, oh, I've just kind of been hit with the truth, and a bit like something that may have occurred more in your full moon. It's a little bit like, yeah, I'm just going to take this information and I'm going to dissect it. I'm going to take a good look at it and decide whether this is true or not. So, yeah, interesting, because you've got shaman has come up, number 5, divine wisdom and spiritual power. Yeah, I mean, we had the eagle for you in one of your readings recently. And this energy's been around you a lot of late. Ever since that full moon in mid-May, it's been around you guys, the sense that you're really connected to this spiritual wisdom, to this spiritual power around you. And this is kind of why I think you're questioning it, because it's like, it's almost like when you're like, you've got a lot of experience and you're the expert on something, and someone comes along and says, oh no, this is the conclusion I've come to, and this is the answer. And because you've got all this experience and you've been there and done a lot of it before, you're kind of there questioning it, going, well, what was your methodology? Like, I don't understand how you could come to that conclusion. So it feels like you've got this experience here in this soul connection, this shamanic connection that's coming through here with this eagle eye view that's coming down, that you really, this could be somebody around you. It could be reflected in somebody kind of telling you this is how it is. They've come to this, it's sort of almost like they've come to this conclusion, and you just kind of giving them a little bit of like, I don't think that's right, because your intuition is telling you something different. So, yeah, that's interesting. Let's see what else is coming through for you here, Scorpio. So trust that, I would say. Trust this divine wisdom that's coming through for you. And let it sit with you. Let it sit, because it just feels like this is not the truth. You're being presented with something as the truth, and you're like, no, it doesn't feel like the truth, or at least it's not my truth. So, yeah, interesting. And it doesn't seem particularly like malefic, like it's just a deep questioning. Let's see what's coming. Okay, the Tower has come in. Aries, Scorpio, Mars, Capricorn, and Cup 8, Neptune, Pisces. Okay, so the Tower energy is like boom. It's like a huge sense of, yeah, it's like what you thought you knew, you no longer know. And so, but then what it is that you do know is not necessarily fulfilling you. So it's like there's a part of you that thinks, I wish I didn't know that, or I wish I hadn't seen that. Because this Cup 8 Neptune Pisces is kind of like, this is potentially where an illusion has been completely shattered. So I do feel like illusions are being shattered here in your life, whether this is you are shattering somebody else's illusions, or quite literally something in your life that you're seeing that it was an illusion, and you're kind of really questioning it, going, well, I don't know if that's true, because it's held true. It's felt right for me for so long. How can you tell me suddenly? And these could be very high messages from spirit, from these spiritual powers, and that's where it can be like, But the other thing is that I do feel like you're getting this direct line from this divine wisdom, from this spiritual power, which has shown you where things have been deeply unfulfilling in your life, where perhaps there's been some boundaries that have been crossed or blurred, and where you need to rework that and bring in some stronger boundaries, or, yeah, find some clarity within a situation. So, yeah, interesting. We've got the Magician. So it's like, yep, I've got this information. What am I going to do with this? I'm going to work on it. Okay, I'm going to work with it. I'm going to work on it. The Queen of Swords, until it becomes a yes in my mind, because at the moment it's a big questioning, a big maybe. But when I get the yes inside of me, that's when I can move forward, yeah, into a positive shift and change. So, and yeah, High Priestess. So your intuition is talking to you loud and clear, definitely. And the Six of Swords, this is where you find your peace with something or with somebody. It's also where you're moving on. So you're moving on from an old energy, especially something that perhaps was deeply unfulfilling for you, or that you had kind of, or you, somebody that you had some sort of, there were illusions here. And this could be somebody that was delusional about you. So it just feels like there's like this blurriness, that somebody wasn't seeing something clearly, which is interesting. The Six of Swords can represent moving quite literally, like it can be that you're moving home, moving office. It can represent travel as well. But I do feel like you're finding peace with what it is that you are finding out at this moment in time. There's potentially something that's kind of like a huge revelation. It could even be shocking, but it's a sense that you're making sense of it inside of your mind and be able to find the peace with it and move on from an energy. So what they're telling me is this is complicated because Neptune comes in. It just absolutely will make things you're never entirely sure if something's what it says it is. So that's kind of, it blurs everything. And that's where I'm kind of being shown that you need to really trust your divine wisdom, your connection to the high priestess and the shaman energy here, to be able to kind of get this sense of the clarity that you're looking for here. So, yeah, definitely it's blurry lines, absolutely, but you're able to move on from it. So this is where someone might come to you and say something and you're just like, that doesn't feel right. It does not feel right. And you got to trust your kind of little spidey senses there to kind of make sense of it. And then it's like, well, I can move on from that. But it can also be that you've seen somebody in a particular light and suddenly realizing that relationship or that connection is not what you thought it was, and so that's where you're able to kind of, there's this deep processing of this information that comes to you and analysis of it. So it's quite an interesting process, but I feel like you do it in your own way, and it's a successful way of coming to your own truth and coming to your own conclusions, and to be able to move on from any kind of emotional turbulence that this Neptune energy has brought up around, the confusion between what's going on for you and somebody else. So interestingly, we've got crocodile, has come through for you. Element of water, a lot going on in this element for you with the Neptune Pisces energy. But crocodile is interesting. He's half on land and half in water. He just lays kind of in that in-between world of intuition and emotions and what's going on beneath the surface, but keeping an eye on what's actually happening here up in the kind of material realm. So it's kind of like you're in between worlds, quite literally, at this moment, but you're trying to make sense of it. And you're trying to make sense of something that somebody's saying is to be true and real. It's tangible. Look at this. But you're going down. You kind of got that sense of your underbelly's like they're connected to the water, the intuition, and you're going, yeah, but how does this feel? Does this feel right? Or what's my intuition telling me about this? So yeah, it's a really, really interesting energy. Trust that, because this is an ancient energy, the crocodile, it's a real primal energy. It's like I said, that divine wisdom, spiritual power, it's shamanic. So when crocodile comes in, it's something that you're connecting to that's old as well, but it's also an energy of a survivor. So you've used this instinct and this intuition to survive in the past, so you can use it again. So it also is an energy of attainment. The crocodile will snap. It's a patient. It will wait, and when the time is right, will make the most of the opportunity, but when the time is right. So it is, an interesting, very, very primal, powerful energy, the crocodile, to come through, especially because we're kind of looking at the shaman in terms of the shamanic animal that's come through for you. And yeah, I think that you just got this laser focus of, I need to know the truth here, and the truth will set you free. And this is when you can move on from something once and for all, finally. But you need to spend your time with it and find your own clarity with it. So that is the message, Scorpio. It's a big one for you guys. But yeah, definitely I think it's a very potent energy that comes through. So that's it. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. And just as the rain's starting to come down now, speaking of element of water, and take care.